In this lesson, we'll take a break from splines to build some struts for the wings. So let's go ahead, like I said, take a break from all the spline stuff that we've been doing and go ahead and just drop in a primitive. Pull it all the way to the back, sort of between the fins. Let's use the handles to kind of pull it out a little bit. We'll make it a little bit narrower, pull it down here. Okay, and we'll go ahead and just kind of make it fit with the shape that we've already got there for the wings. We can kind of rotate it a little bit. It's penetrating in. We can go ahead and pull this in. And let's make it a little bit narrower. Okay, let's go ahead and give it some segments. So let's go ahead, turn on our lines. And I just want to give it a few segments in here. So let's maybe give it, let's give it 8 segments. All right. And let's go ahead now and make this editable. Let's start to do some shaping on this. So I just want to grab the points on both ends. So grab those, shift drag across, and let's scale those out. Okay. We can go ahead and grab these points and sort of scale them in a little bit. Now I want to have a little bit of a bend to it, or a bow to it. And so I'm going to go ahead and select all these points. Just move them up a little. And then deselect on the ones on the end and do it again. Deselect the ones on the end and do it again. Okay. Now I want to have a little dip right in here. So I'm actually going to take these in the middle and push them down. Okay. Let's see what that looks like if we drop a hyperNURBS and drop the cube in there. So now it's really just sort of smooth. I want to give it a little bit more structure, so I'm going to use the knife to do that. So let's go ahead and grab our knife. And I want to add a line in there. It goes all the way around to just give it a little bit more thickness. And then I want this dip to be a little bit sharper. So I'm going to add a line right here and right there. And you can see how that sort of sharpens that area up. And then if I go ahead and turn off, you can see you get something that looks like that, which is kind of what I was envisioning here. You can kind of move it down a little bit. Okay, I want to kind of mirror that coming forward. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this whole thing, hyperNURBS and everything, and let's pull this forward. Okay, I can pull this down and give it a little bit more thickness, but I want this to be not quite as extreme as that, but I still want to have sort of the dip in it. And so I'm going to just manipulate those points again. So I'll take these points, move them down, deselect these, move those down a little bit, and I want to make this dip a little bit less extreme, so I'll kind of pull this up a little. Okay, so we get something like that. Okay, now I want another one on the right behind it. So I'll do this again, make another duplicate. Make sure it's not underneath that hyperNURBS. And let's go ahead and take this and move it just back here. I'll go ahead and thin it out a little bit. Okay. And then I can come in and do a little bit of shaping, so I might want to take this and just move it down a little bit. Maybe take the whole thing and move it up a bit. So something like that. Just to give it a little bit more structure, make it look like it is, you know, held together a little bit more, so it's not just, these aren't just flying around back there. Now for the ends, you can see that it's penetrating in, so if you want to, you can go ahead, grab your polygon mode, and you can go ahead and delete the ends of all of these that are sort of inside there. You can do the same thing here. Just come in and delete the ends. And you can see, well, let's look at this one. You can see how it's sort of curving back in. When you delete that, You can see it goes straight out there now, so you're not interpolating using that face that we don't need. And so you get a nice straight edge coming in. Okay, so now that we've got our struts built, just using some primitives, you saw how easy that was to build those. The next thing that we want to do is work on this landing gear. We haven't really done anything to this since we started it. And so let's build that up and start to add a little bit of thickness to it. So we'll go ahead and do that in the next lesson.